What is up, everybody? This is Lyle, No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. I wanted to kind of start this home buyer series as far as buying a home and things like that as a truck driver with the reasons why you should want to buy a home. You know, I know being a truck driver and things like that, it makes it a little bit harder. Sometimes people will say, you know, I'm just going to live in my truck or something like that, possibly rent if you have a family, whatever. One of the reasons that I think that buying a home is important, now we're just talking about people with families or people that would be possibly renting or something like that, is just stability. You know what I mean? I'm about as stable of a landlord as you could possibly be, but the people that are renting from me, who I have no intentions of selling the house or anything like that, they're at whatever whim may cross my mind or whatever may happen in my life. You know, I mean, life happens. Something could happen to me, something could happen to my wife, then things change. You know what I'm saying? Something happens to me, my wife might be like, you know what, let's get some of this cash flow in, you know, sell the house, something like that. So just being in control of your own destiny, that is one thing. Now, oftentimes you will hear this catchphrase in the trucking industry, and I don't know where it comes from or whatever, but you always hear this generational wealth. Now, personally, one of my boys hit me up with a saying that I truly believe in, and that is, a drowning man can't save a drowning man. Personally, as far as generational wealth and stuff like that goes, you know what, if it happens, it happens. I'm not going out of my way to enrich my kids. I need to have them have their own goals and things like that. That doesn't mean that something's not going to get passed on. That means that's not my intentional goal. But as far as generational wealth goes, or wealth in general, more wealth is created in the United States by home ownership than any other thing. Now, it's a little different in trucking. You know, your average citizen, you know, they need to have a place to live anyway. So if you're going to need to live somewhere, you might as well, if you can, take advantage of everything that comes along with home ownership. And even in the trucking world, for those people that say, you know, I'm just going to live in my truck and stack money away, I really think that buying a home is advantageous for even those people. And here's why. No matter how much money you're saving, you cannot outsave the appreciation in home values. It's just, it's almost impossible. It's just a way to double up. So some good examples of this would be, you know, I'd bought a house in 1999, you know, ended up selling that house probably in 2016. I bought it for like $98,000 and ended up selling it for $215,000. You know, there was a house that me and my wife had bought in 2012, ended up selling it. Well, we bought that house for $180,000, ended up selling it for $335,000. If you look at it like this, okay, so in most markets, now some markets may be different, if you're actually going to rent a house, the payment on a mortgage is typically going to be about 20-25% less than a rental in that market. So here's the way I look at it. So me and my wife have a house that we're living in right now. That particular house, we bought it in 2017. We bought it for $417,000. That house right now is all of about $660,000. Our mortgage payment, and this is where I think about housing a lot different than either other mortgage bankers or even realtors. But our mortgage payment on that house, we've just refinanced it. I'm thinking it's around $2,400, something like that. So $2,400. Of that $2,400, about $1,100 a month is going to buy down the principal. So let's just round that down to $1,000 a month. That's basically being set in the bank. The house is going up, and I'm going to use very conservative figures. If the house only goes up 5% a year. So let's round the 660 down to 600. 600 times 5, so that means it's going up in value about $35,000 a year. Let's round that down to $24,000 a year. And just living in that house and making payments on that house, we are actually setting aside $36,000 a year. We're buying the principal down, which is basically equity in our pocket, and the house is going up. And like I said, I rounded it down to $24,000 a year. The house is going up in value $2,000 a month, so that's basically saving $36,000 a year by not doing anything. So if what I'm hearing from a lot of people is they want to gain generational wealth, things like that, there's no easier and faster way to do it than and more stable way. I mean, I know people are talking about cryptocurrency. Let's talk about proven stuff that has a track record over years, even in down markets. So we had a down market in 2000, between like 2006-ish, maybe a little bit before that, till about 2012-ish. But generally, if you look 10 years out, the housing market is pretty stable over those 10 years. And like I said, for the most part, you have to live in a house anyway. Truck driving is a little bit different, so I understand that as well. Now, as far as hesitation that I see with a lot of single truck drivers is that buying a house gives them too much responsibility, and I understand that. Buying a single family home probably isn't something that I would suggest a single truck driver do. Maybe get a condo, townhouse, something like that, where the maintenance and everything on the outside is getting handled by somebody else, so you don't have to worry about that. Nothing worse than letting a house sit for 5-6 weeks and come back and the grass is overgrown and all that kind of stuff. So these are just little reasons why I think that buying a home is something that everybody should take advantage of. What I'm going to be doing in this series, I thought about it a while, and there's so many different things, or so many different ways to approach this in terms of how to buy a house. A regular W-2 citizen as opposed to a W-2 truck driver, a W-2 truck driver as opposed to a 1099 truck driver. We're going to get into all that, but what I'm going to do is break these videos down into probably short 5-minute segments that just deal with one topic in that, just deal with one topic rather than trying to go on and on and on. So we might deal with credit, and that might be one video in itself. Then we'll deal with like the W-2 versus 1099 versus a regular person. That might be a separate video. Another video might be different homebuyer programs, whether it's VA for you veterans out there, FHA for people that have a little bit money down but maybe not enough to go conventional. We'll go over conventional loans. We'll go over first time homebuyer programs, zero money down, all that kind of stuff. So those are going to be broke down into like short little videos, just so maybe you may not even want to hear something about one particular topic. So we'll just kind of break it down like that. But anyway, that's how we're going to do it. So I'm going to try to do at least one of these a week, but it's obviously going to depend on what my schedule is. I just happen to be stuck at the terminal right now. My fleet manager, I'm not seeing him clocked in, and driver lineup is telling me it's going to take a while, so I had a little time to throw this together. But that's what my plan is. If you have any specific questions, if you can, just leave those questions in the comment section of any of these kind of videos, and I'll get around to those. And I'm also going to try to put these in a playlist, so I'll probably name the playlist Buying a Home as a Truck Driver or something along those lines. And if anybody would like to challenge me as far as some of the reasons I say that are reasons why you should buy a home, especially if you have a family. You know what I'm saying? Nothing worse than having a family and then all of a sudden you get that 30-day move out notice and you're on the road and you gotta just buy a home if you can. Anyway, if anybody wants to challenge me on any of these things or have any questions, we could also go back and forth on that as well. Anyway, enough about that. I'd like to thank you guys for stopping by No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. Comment, subscribe, and I'm out.